Hello, we're the Maine. This is our 4-track history. We wrote this song, I remember, in Dallas, Texas.
In the van.
In the back of the van. I sort of adopted a Project Pat lyric. It wasn't even a lyric. It was like the ad-lib at the start of his song. And he said... men do what they want, boys do what they can. And it was like, I don't even know what the clip is from, but we ended up pairing that with the guitar riff that starts the whole song. And at that point in time, it was just like, we have an idea.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's a song.
We were listening to a lot of hip hop.
Yeah.
And just randomly pulled a line from a song.
Yeah. Then obviously recording it was the first time in like a real deal studio. So it was just pretty unreal just to be able to take it from a weird scenario in the back of the van to like this really neat studio with a big wig producer. And
the first time in a real studio doing a real full-length album was certainly a little bit overwhelming. I think that
I feel like by the time we were actually recording, it wasn't, because we were so like close.
I just remember having nerves driving to the studio at least me personally, like thinking like, how am I going to get through this day? Like we did yesterday. How do I do this day now?
I definitely think that the nerves clashed with just the excitement of recording, because I remember being so overwhelmed with the idea that we got to live together and we got to, be on our own for the first time in Los Angeles. And I feel like it sort of counteracted, I guess. The nerves were offset by the, excitement of it. Or at least for me, I don't know.
And we ended up finishing it. So.
I think one of the most exciting things was hearing us recorded what we thought at the time was like so hi-fi, like compared to anything we had done. I remember listening back specifically to Girls Do What They Want, when the full band comes in, it just felt felt huge, compared to, in the past
$300 demos.
We had
recorded songs,
we had recorded in like a guy's, in his mom's bedroom. So this one was a montage live video, so we just didn't have to do anything. But it actually is one of my favorites that we've ever done. I think it really captures what that time was like, and it shows. It's the first time that we show our van with all the autographs on it from fans. So that kind of then once we put out that video, that really became a big thing.
Yeah, I think it's funny to think back now and look. I mean, I haven't watched the video in probably 11 years, but I remember it, and knowing that the process hasn't really changed all that much for us. Like the approach to what we do, especially on the road, we haven't deviated from that. So it's kind of neat to see, the younger version of us.
Fell together in the studio a lot. It was kind of the basic bare bones of it we figured out, but then it changed a lot once we were actually in the studio working on it.
Yeah, I don't think we expected much of the track, to be honest, before it was recorded. I think that we felt good about the groove to the song, and it wasn't until I think after the lyrics sort of fell into place, and then we did the video and sort of created the whole story behind the track, that it really started to resonate with people, and I think resonated with us, which is why we still play it so often. We just feel like it's a good it's a good change of pace for our band. I think people were pretty well into the idea that we were like a straightforward rock or straightforward pop punk band or whatever you want to call us.
And we really wanted to have a lot of groove on that record too.
Yeah.
And that's probably one of the songs that was like the breakout sort of feature for that too, for us. And just having that sort of element throughout that record, I think, was a totally new look for us. And that song certainly showcased it.
Yeah. So the music video sort of fell into place just like the song did. It was sort of very natural and organic. I mean, that's such an overused word at this point, but I feel like it was very seamless, the way that the lyrics sort of dictated what the video was going to be about.
Yeah.
I think if we would have done anything lighthearted, it just would have felt, it just wouldn't have fit well. So with the help of our buddy Cole, and obviously the people at the beginning of the video who kind of made and helped tell the story of the song, I think that one sort of, like for me personally, slides under the radar a little bit, just because I forget how important it is for me to even to watch. I think that one's definitely up there as far as music videos goes for me. So
yeah. I think just that that like feeling comfortable in your own skin side of the song and the meaning behind it really kind of translates well live. People just kind of feel free in that moment, I think.
I mean, to me, it feels kind of like the song from American Candy. Like if we were only going to do a song from that album, I think now that it's been a couple years since the album come out, I feel like when people look back, that is the track.
It's very hard to take it out of the set list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we don't.
Which is a good thing, I think.
I feel like we set out with American Candy to make a record that was a huge departure from Forever Halloween, and I think that with Lovely Little Lonely, we just wanted to sort of evolve that sound and maybe create more of a more thought out version of. So in our eyes, Bad Behavior was always English Girls 2.0. We get that a lot as far as the groove goes and as far as the rhythmic kind of pattern goes.
And I feel like it even, because we always had that in our head.
Thanks.
Because we always had that in our head, it was like, until you put the words and the lyrics on it and the melodies, like it was kind of like, oh, there's that song that kind of.
But is
something we did.
But as soon as he did,
we
knew
we were freaking out. I mean,
immediately.
we were in the studio. I remember the last day they were recording that record, and we were just blasting that song, listening back, and we had felt like, oh wow, like this is the best thing that we've ever done, and we just got really excited about it. And then once we started playing it live, very quickly, like we figured out that this is going to be fun to play.
I think the neatest part for me, and I've said it before, but it's one of those, like, you sort of, at least for me, I kind of kill myself writing the lyrics. I go all different ways and try to twist and turn and get to what I think needs to be said. And for that song to have yeah be the loudest part of any song that we've ever written is sort of like,
it's kind of ironic.
Yeah, it is ironic, but it sort of like helps me, remember that it's important to tell your truth, but also just, melodies.
It can be simple.
Yeah, it can be simple. So
as far as the writing goes, it came pretty late. We went to New York to kind of do like a last minute writing trip. We felt like we kind of already had enough for the album, and we just went to see if we could get anything more, and we got the guitar riff
just kept looping it, kept running it,
Yeah.
and running it,
It was
and
just
running
that
it.
same thing
running
over
it.
and over again, and we
Mhm.
we were just stuck on that.
And that's like the
and-
only thing we got out of that trip.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I remember we were there for like almost a week, right?
Yeah.
And it was like
super expensive to go out there. We were out there hanging out for a week, and we got one guitar.
it was funny because we had gotten down. And it was towards the end too, right? Like
Yeah.
we gotten down towards the end of it, and it was like this one thing happened that we could all agree was good, and we just kept running it and running it and running it, and then kind of like building on it. And it kind of happened pretty quick after that, though.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
I think Numb Without You was always the obvious choice for first track once we got down to final mixes and stuff like that. I think for me it just felt like like you said, the mission statement of the record, an ambitious, energetic, completely unsubtle track.
I think it was like the first moment when we were working with the new like kind of sound we were going for, where it really clicked, and we were like that's going to work for this style, for this album. And yeah, just working on that demo really was like eye-opening.
I think again in contrast to at least Bad Behavior, I think it took again recording the whole thing and hearing the vocal on it for everybody to be convinced that it should be one of the front runners for people to hear first. I think that it was definitely, for me, again, just an afterthought until we heard it back in its full form and sort of all done up. But yeah, I think it's a good representation of the album. I would say between Slip the Noose, which is the opening track, and that track, we just knew that we wanted to save giving away the first song for people to put on the album and listen to it and be excited about something new they hadn't heard for 2 months before the record was out. So
Yeah, I think the thing about the song that I like the most is that it sounds like only we could play it. Like it doesn't sound just like a generic song that if you got a bunch of people that write pop rock songs, like got in a studio, something like that wouldn't just happen. And you know, so the fact that it sounds very like unique to our band, I think is, you know, my favorite thing about it.
So we had so many strings on the new record, and the way that it worked was we were mapping everything out with MIDI with like a keyboard, and we'd send them to this guy Andrew Jocelyn, who would then re-record everything. So we had real strings by the end of it, which is kind of cool because you get to hear the things that were mapped out actually played by humans. So the idea was to perform at the Orpheum and to have as many strings as we could get. We ended up with the quintet, so we had 5 people playing strings. Andrew Jocelyn flew down, and
so to be able to meet him,
yeah,
and not just have an email,
which was weird because here's this person who played on like most of the
all
record.
of the record,
Yeah.
and,
we
you're
met
meeting
him.
him for the first time. Yeah. It was a pretty surreal experience. I think it was really neat to be able to like, we rehearsed for several days before that
Without them.
without them,
Yeah.
and to be able to play with people that actually read music is
It was crazy. I mean, we literally played it with them the first time, and it was perfect.
Like heard it before.
No, they
Yeah.
definitely
No.
yeah.
I mean, most of those things were one take.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool to be like, because when we all show up in a room together, it's like we're
It
forgetting
takes us a little
stuff,
bit, yeah.
and we have to run it, and it's so cool to have these like professional, like classically trained musicians show up.
And we were gonna turn around and be like, "You guys good?"
yeah, yeah.
Because we
More
reading
so, I
sheet
was
music
like,
is
yeah.
not. That's not.
I didn't want to give away that I was up there winging it,
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
it was really fun.
Yeah, it was a neat
cool.
experience.